The markets continued their uptrend, which was suspected because we could see the J-hook pattern setting up in the Dow and the S&P 500. Made this a very simple analysis that if they opened positive today, that there's a good prospect that we're going to be in wave 3 to the upside. This is based upon a very simple trading pattern, which we call the bobble. They came up, they basically failed at the 200, they pulled back to the T-line, and then when they came back up through that resistance level, where they bobbled, it's a more defined J-hook pattern, telling us that the upside may have the same magnitude as this last wave here, telling us we could be coming back up to test these levels. And the NASDAQ, also doing a J-hook type pattern, has the prospects of coming back up to test the 200, which makes this a very easy trend analysis that if they take the NASDAQ through the 200, now you've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 also indicating a few more days to the upside. Knowing that the overall market trend is continuing in an uptrend, that makes the high probability patterns, candlestick patterns, that much more relevant. This is what we call a McMuffin. Notice your morning star signal, which is a big down day, a doji day, and the third day closes back up more than halfway up this candle, followed by a doji sandwich, which is a bullish day, a doji, another bullish day, based upon the simple doji rule that the price is usually going to move in the direction of how they open after a doji. Thus, the doji is sandwiched in between. Both have expectations. First of all, the morning star signal is one of your 12 major signals. Expect more upside. A doji sandwich is a very common high probability candlestick signal pattern telling you there's going to be more upside. We call it a McMuffin because you've got a morning star signal, a doji sandwich, or a morning sandwich, which both imply there's going to be more upside, which means we can pretty much evaluate. They came up through the resistance level, came right back to the 50, acted as support. Now we've got strong buy signals indicating we're probably going to be in an uptrend or another J-hook pattern. That same pattern setup can be identified on CASA, C-A-S-A. Morning star signal, doji sandwich. Next likely target, probably the 50-day moving average, and then possibly up filling the gap. We identify these patterns because we know the expectations. There's a high probability that not only are you going to be in an uptrend, but a strong uptrend based upon the double whammy of a morning star signal and a doji sandwich, both implying there's more upside. Easy to identify pattern setups like a bobble where they come up, they fail at a major resistance level, but notice the T-line acts as support. Got a piercing signal. This is Texas Instruments. Did a doji, then a gap up, your best friend, and what did it tell us about the resistance level? If you're doing a best friend signal, a doji gap up, that tells you the resistance level is not acting as resistance anymore. Not only that, it's telling you the next trend is going to be relatively strong. Knowing what the candlestick signals and patterns illustrate allow the candlestick investor to take advantage of price movements with much more accuracy based upon what normally happens in human nature. USFD. Note how they did a belt hold signal. Belt hold signal is, notice they gapped way out of the trading range and then came back up into the trading range. What that basically illustrates is you had buyers and sellers, buyers and sellers. The sellers wanted out and the bulls bought them all up, took all the sellers out of the way, which means any new buying has less sellers in the way, making what might have been this trajectory now likely to be a much stronger trajectory. This is just simple analysis of what happens with investor sentiment that the Japanese rice traders have identified for the last 400 years. So it goes through the process of saying that prices do not move based upon fundamentals. Prices move based upon the perception of fundamentals, which is exactly what the graphics of candlestick signals tell you. That'll be it. We'll see you in the chat rooms.